Hey folks, this is a Let's Talk video. As you can see from the title of the video, we've been pondering the question we added as title for a while. What is the motivation to keep playing killer in this game? What is the motivation to play killer? What is that? That's an interesting question to me because when you play a game because it's fun. You play a game because you want to do well and you have a chance to do well and you have a chance to get better and better and better, keep doing well. So, but in Dead by Daylight, when you actually start to do well, this is basically the story of a killer, right? When you first start with a killer. And I've been doing like a first time killer videos on YouTube. You'll see it in the recent videos. I've been playing killers for the first time. I've been recording my first three matches and doing an intro on the killer and reducing the killer and stuff like that as well. Currently offline, I'm actually recording videos right now based on the very first kills I ever played. Basically, I've done Spirit, I've done Legion. I was going to record Nightmare earlier, but well, we won't talk about why we didn't stop recording that. It didn't go well. But I've been wondering what is the motivation to play Killer because there's basically once you first start with Killer, there's a learning curve when it comes to the power. Every single killer has its own little intricate things when it comes to the killer's power, and it takes practice to get used to. Some killers take a lot more time to get used to it, like Twins, for example, or Blight or Nurse. Things like Spirit and listening to the audio of the survivor, and there sometimes they can sound a lot closer to you, something I struggle with, but with practice you can get used to that. Slinger I'm using here, getting used to the angles when you can shoot, when not to shoot, and all that stuff. There too, it takes practice. Same with Clown. I struggled a lot with Clown and Nemesis, but once you put time into them, you can actually start to get pretty good at them. But here's the thing: you put all this time in to get good at the power. Once you start to get good, you start to get kills and you start to do well. Then your MMR rating goes up. So eventually you're going to run into a group of survivors, four survivors, who are just really good at the game. They're using meta packs, they're pretty good at the game, they know how to work the loops, they know how to grade the pallets, they know how to connect one loop into another loop, and they can just keep you busy all along while their teammates are just very efficient on the gens. So if you're not using corrupt intervention, you're going to lose a gen before you even get the first down. Then basically, I was just waiting to see if I got that shot. I didn't get the shot, damn it. I can't remember this match. It was a while ago, this match. This is what the fun of the Let's Talk video. I get distracted by one video. That was a nice little shot. Yeah, so you get run into all these problems with there, and you'll eventually get to a survivor team who will just own you, basically. So you get good at kill, you start getting kills, and you get rewarded by getting spanked by this group of survivors and then getting spanked hard. That's your a reward, basically, and then it's repeating. I shouldn't have went for that shot there. But you're so basically repeating the same thing again. You go back down, you go back for, you're sort of pinballing back and forth. But once you get into the better the survivors, you start to get even better with killing, even better with killing. But as you know, the high MMR level in this game is generally all you ever see is Blight and Nurse. I don't think I'm high MMR as any killer, and I don't think I'm high MMR as a survivor either. But I don't know because I don't see my MMR. I don't know what the heck I am. Nobody really knows for sure, to be honest, because you just don't see it. But basically, it's like, what is the motivation to keep playing? Once you get up there, you're going to run into a ceiling with the killer, which is below the highest level of the game. There, before the highest level that survivors can reach, your killer can't get up to that level. So, what is the point of keep going, really? Because I'm someone who wants to play a variety of killers. Something that I've been realizing as I've been going along, that I'm going to have to main a killer. And I've been thinking in the last few days, okay, this playlist that I've been doing with my first time killer. It's kind of like my journey to deciding what killer I'm going to main, and that's very cool. And I thought that's a pretty cool thing to have that on my YouTube. I can always point back to that in future. It's a very cool thing to have. So, but when I'm trying to main killer, I'm like, okay, well, I want to pick a killer that's going to allow me to compete against Swift teams. I want a killer, basically, for those who don't know, Swift teams are people or friends that are playing together. And I want to compete against them, but it seems like the only killer is really going to be any good to compete would be Blight Nurse. I enjoy Blight Nurse, but I don't enjoy it enough where I would want to main either of them. Slunner's my leading, just in case you wonder, Slunner is my leading candidate to main at the moment, along with Executioner as well, and Onryo and Sudoku. But I know with any of the killers, I'm going to reach a ceiling before the highest level of the game, where I just can't compete, basically. And I know at any time, basically, it doesn't matter if I'm a high member, anyway, any level of the MMR, there's always going to be these group of survivors, whereas I always say in the first 10 killers matches, eventually you are going to run into survivors where 10 out of 10 times you're just going to lose, because you can't slow them down, you can't basically, you just can't compete with them basically because they know how to work out every single loop, they know how to connect every loop into each other and all that stuff as well. So you just can't compete. So yeah, again, it comes back to the question I asked in the video title: what is the motivation to play kill? What is the motivation? Right now, the motivation is for me is because it's my first time playing the killers and I'm choosing a main killer. But once I do that, what is the motivation to keep going? I have a massive amount of achievements done, but I've almost got all the adepts now. I have some individual killer powers to get, but honestly, there's quite a disparity on them. Like, for example, I have to blink and hit Survivor 500 times with a nurse, but I was only to basically, it was like 30 times with this Slinner here. I was wondering if I was going to get that shot there, I missed again. I'm still getting used to this killer. Just an excuse there for you as well. But yeah, basically, I'm still there's a disparity on basically the achievements, so I'm not overly fussed about the killer achievement related to the power. But the adepts ones and I am, and I've always done that. So for me, I actually had the thought in my mind that once I have the adepts done, and I feel like I've completed the game because I have Legendary Killer, I have Legendary Survivor, I've played all killers at least once, and I've seen the power. I maybe not got good at them all, but I've played them and I've seen what ones are fun and what aren't. I played in the survivor side, which to be honest I find pretty much boring because I know that the way it's going to go in survivor. Sometimes my team are efficient on the gens and don't mess around. I'm probably going to escape. If I don't, if they're not efficient and they mess around, then I'm probably going to die. Or at some point I'm going to make a glorious sacrifice and die anyway because I'm that type of player. The type of survivor I'm the last person in the match and someone gets hooked and I'm injured. I'm still going to go to the hook and try and get that person off. That's just who I am. Basically, that's the way I play it. I think it's fun trying that. So yeah, the survivor most of the time is pretty boring. There's very few times it's actually really that interesting to me. So the killer side is interesting because I do like a challenge, although it's too big a challenge on the killer side right now. I wouldn't call myself a killer main, but if I was going to be a killer main or a survivor main, killer main is probably what I would choose. But I want to play both sides of the coin, killer and survivor. But I don't really see the motivation to play killer. Survivor's a breeze, survivor's easy and fun at times, but it's not always fun because you get a lot of tunnel encounters these days. But I'm sitting here wondering what is the fun to once I've reached these heights with the killer and stuff like that. What can I do? What's left to do as killer? What is the motivation to keep going? Because I've got over 1,000 hours in the game now. What is my motivation to get to 2k hours? Because I see people with 6k hours or 9k hours or whatever. Basically, are there a lot of hours in that there? And I'm like, what's my motivation to go to 2k hours or 3k hours, 4k hours? Especially since I know that pretty much anything that's getting added to the game always seems to benefit the survivors. It's like the survivor gameplay gets a buff anytime there's a new chapter release. It feels like that, and killers don't seem to get any love at all, it seems like. And this recent 6th anniversary thing didn't announce anything, but basically made me think that's going to change. There is announcement regarding meta perks being nerfed, possibly, but at the same time, that's both Survivor and Killer it was talking about, so they're nerfing Survivor gameplay by nerfing perks, but they're also nerfing Killer gameplay. Killer perks, so the Killer gameplay is getting nerfed as well as a whole, so therefore the balance is still the same, which is heavily Survivor sided right now. So I don't really see how that's going to change. I do think Killer should be a challenge because you are the one in the 4v1. You are the single player and multiplayer versus single player. But it's just too big a challenge, and eventually you're going to run into a ceiling where there's just no chance for you because it's just going to be a quick match. Because I was doing a match with Nightmare earlier, and I got one down pretty quickly, but a gen still popped. Then I got taken on a chase where the person was dropping pallet and how to connect loops into each other and wasted all the time. I probably should have got off the chase and went to the gens, but I like chasing, I want to keep chasing, so I thought I would eventually get him down. And I got him down. Plus, at the same time, when you have a really good chaser, you do actually want to hook them because eventually you want to get that person in the game. Because if you get them in the game, the other three are going to be kind of easier to deal with than possibly, maybe, depending on how good they are. But that's generally the thinking that sometimes in my mind as well. So, yeah, what is the motivation? I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, what's my motivation to keep going? I don't see what that motivation is right now. Nah, I'm not saying I'm going to stop playing the game or anything ridiculous like that. I will keep playing the game. I've invested a lot of time into the coming up with the series that I have on my YouTube, and I think they will provide fun for me in the game. But I'm also thinking about the overall player base, and like this player base going. We're seeing the Steam stats where they're being constantly going down, and I'm like, okay, where's the motivation? Where is the motivation to keep playing Killer for other people? What is the motivation for Survivor mains to stop playing Survivor for a while and actually play Killer? What is the motivation? I don't see it. And obviously, we need people to play Killer because that is one thing you need. There's absolutely no doubt in your mind about that. You need to play there, so I don't know what the motivation is. I'm actually legitimately asking people to comment on it. For you, like, what is the motivation to keep playing Killer? For you, if you play Killer, what motivates you to keep playing Killer? What is it? Because I would very much like to know. Because right now I feel like I'm getting frustrated more when I play Killer. And you can see it in my first time Killer matches as well, where I get frustrated with people just greeding pallets constantly over and over again. Because eventually I know they're going to drop it because when my blacklist kicks in, they're going to drop it. But I don't know if they're going to drop it the second time around or the third time around or what. And sometimes I have killers that are 4.4 at play as well, like Spirit is my favourite character and she's 4.4. I do enjoy Trickster as well, it's 4.4 as well, so I constantly, well, Trickster basically I use my daggers, so that kind of helps with that, but Spirit I generally use the power more as well, so it might not be the best examples, but you get the idea. Eventually they can just greed pallets constantly over and over and over again, and if they don't eventually drop it, and sometimes they'll fake it, and if you hard back up, they are they can keep you there for ages basically, and generally the other three survivors will be efficient and they'll keep going, and basically just end up losing a lot of gens, and all you were pretty much doing was running around in a circle because this survivor was able to greed this pallet constantly over and over, and they knew how to do so. And sometimes I think they have a better internet connection than you as well, so they're able to, that helps to do it as well. So overall, it's just what's the motivation? I don't see it there, and it's quite frustrating to play Killer a lot of times because a lot of times some game sessions, especially on a Sunday with Swift Sunday, it's not fun. So I'm searching for reasons to keep finding the fun. I've been doing that since January because I took a break for a month from the game. And I came back with the attitude, okay, there's no such thing as winning and losing. It's just trying to escape and trying to get kills. That's the fun of the game. And that helped a lot. It really did. But I still like to try and win. I would still like to have a chance to win, but at the same time, um, I'm not. I would like to win. Basically, I'm getting distracted by why the hell I just missed that shot and why I even took the shot in the first place and just go for the mouse one there. So I was kind of about ready to cuss myself out for doing that. But there, so yeah, I'm basically. I just don't see the point in playing killer. Even though I'm more interested in the fun of trying to get kills, I still want to have a chance to get kills. But if I'm going into the match thinking, okay, I just had a 4K back to back, these survivors are probably going to be sweaty, and I'm not going to have a chance to get anything here. I'll be lucky to get maybe 3, 4 hooks or here. If I get 6 hooks, I'll probably do quite well, the way they're cranking out gens here on this match. So it's like, what is the motivation to keep going? I don't see it. Because I would love to put there, because I'm not someone that wants to main the same killer all the time. I want to play Dishonor, I want to play Unreal, I want to play Artist, I want to play Cenobite, I want to play Spirit, I want to play Executioner, I want to play Pig, I want to play Myers, I want to at times play Blight, I want to play these killers that I do enjoy, Trickster as well. There, I enjoy a wide range of killers playing them. There's a lot more killers I enjoy playing than don't enjoy playing. And for those that wonder, Twins, Hag, and Trapper kills that. Trapper, and especially with Ghostface and Nemesis are the killers I don't like. Clown as well. Although it's Clown I'm actually been playing a bit more recently, and I'm actually starting to enjoy Clown a bit more. But yeah, apart from the fun of trying to get kills, which really isn't fun every single match because some matches you just know you're going to lose. It's like I don't see the motivation. At the same time, from the other side of the coin, some matches are just easy and boring to survivors because the killer's just not able to compete against the group there. When I play solo survivors, sometimes I get not as much as I would like to, mind you, but sometimes I get survivors that are just super efficient and we're out pretty quickly before really barely any hooks. And it's like, well, that was easy. But what's the fun in that? It's the same as there. If I'm playing the killer, what's the fun to the survivors? She is really good at juking these bloody fins. The shooting there. I'm getting really mad at her. There, and I'm not even playing this, just watching the recording, but I'm getting bloody mad at her there. So I was probably mad at playing this as well. But yeah. That's my thought. I'm very interested in people who play killer. What is your motivation to keep playing this game? The survivor mains, if you play survivor, I've heard some survivor mains would never play killer. Basically, they are like, why? Why wouldn't you play killer? And honestly, based on my experience with playing killer, I can't say I blame you. So yeah, it's like, I don't know, just that's the whole point of this Let's Talk video, basically, to talk it. For there, apparently been rambling on for about 18 minutes, so I think I've covered that enough, but that's the thing there. What is the motivation to keep playing killer? Right now, I'm struggling to find an answer to that. I really am. I really am struggling to find an answer to that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then please like it. If you like to see feature content like this, then please subscribe for feature content. And until next time, y'all take care.